Yo, what's good? What's good? We back. This is Promo Palace LLC Vlog 25. We're gonna call this one Why Talent Does Not Dictate the Music Industry. Now, don't get me wrong. At one point, um, talent pretty much dictated the music industry, or should I say, the labels seeking out talent. Like when label, because you gotta realize at some point there wasn't no independent labels. There was only major labels. Also, hit that subscribe button in that right hand corner if you're watching on YouTube. So there was no major labels. I mean, there was no independent labels. It was just major labels. So at that point, labels were just really looking for talent because most of the artists they were signing didn't really have fan base at all. You know, like artists building their own fan base didn't happen until the first independent artists started coming about. Because independent artists always had to build their own fan base, you know. And you got to realize at one point it was nobody really had a database for their fan base at one point. It wasn't like we were collecting phone numbers and email addresses back then, or even mailing addresses, really. It wasn't collecting no database like that, you know, because basically back then distribution mattered in the music business. It was the only thing that mattered at one point. If you had major distribution, you were pretty much in there as long as you had the promotional items to go along with it, like posters and just posters for like and stand-ups or whatever for like promotional items to put in the moms and pop stores, basically. You know, so and because at one point you just used radio and street team to promote records and you had distribution. The only other part of that would be like promotional items that you would send with the records that they would put up, like I said, posters or stand-ups and stuff like that, or the little stand-ups you would see at the counter and whatnot. So then the internet came, and ever since MySpace, artists have been breaking themselves. And ever since MySpace, artists have been keeping a database of who their fans are. You know, a cat like Ryan Leslie knows all his fans, first, last name, middle initial, mailing address, text number, email address, whatever. They got all their, they got all their database very, very organized. So nowadays, artists that are looking to sign to major labels aren't signing you because you're talented anymore. They're not yes, they want artists to be talented, but you could be talented, and if you ain't got no fan base, they're not gonna get behind you 100% until you got fan base. You can have all the talent in the world until if you're talented and you have no fan base and you sign with a major label off of talent, they might give you an advance, but they're not gonna do any work for you. You got to go out and do all the work for yourself with that 50,000. You got to build a fan base up that's worthy enough for them to say, all right, you're talented, plus you got a fan base who will get behind you. Because I'm going to tell you right now, labels are getting behind plenty non-talented artists who have fan base. And that's the brilliance of independence. When you're independent, you don't got to be the most talented artist to build fan base. And the more I see artists that are independent building fan base that are non-talented, like the more I realize everybody has fan base. Anybody can have fan base. How much fan base is a different story. One cat might be, the potential of 10,000 fans. Somebody maybe 100,000, maybe 1,000,000. It's different levels to this. But this idea that talent dictates the music industry this day and age is false. It's not true. It's bogus. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to go through things where just being talented isn't going to get you there. Number one, just being talented. And we're talking about artists who have no fans, really. Don't have a lot of fans. So you got to take that into account what we're talking about. You're a talented artist. You don't got a lot of fans. Hot 97, Power 105 is not just going to start playing you all the time just because you're talented. It doesn't work that way. Your local radio station isn't going to play your song over and over and over and over and over again just because you're talented. Because talent doesn't bring nothing to the table if you haven't brought any fans to the table. I repeat, just bringing talent to the table has not brought nothing to the table if you have not brought no fans, no consumers. You got no consumers. You know, if nobody's willing to buy your music or pay a ticket for the show, you've not brought nothing to the table. Talent doesn't automatically generate revenue. Just because you're talented doesn't mean you're automatically going to generate revenue. And if you classify streams as automatically generate revenue for a fan base, no, that's bogus. That is bogus. The real fanatics are the people that are willing to buy merchandise and buy tickets to your show. The people that run and sprint to go listen to your album. Not the people that you got to force to listen to your album. The people that run and go sprint. FM radio doesn't care if you're talented. FM radio is going to play popular music because FM radio is in the business of staying in business. And FM radio is an advertising platform. FM radio isn't a place for you to get a bunch of free promotion. It's an advertising platform. The job of FM radio is to bring in advertisers. And in order to do that, they have to bring in listeners. And by playing unsigned artists who have no fan base, you're not going to bring in listeners. You have to play popular music. It's the way it goes. Unsigned artists don't bring listeners. Popular artists bring listeners. If nobody knows you yet, they're not running to go listen, to sprint to go listen to your music. They're sprinting to go listen to Drake, Chris Brown, and everybody else that's dominating radio. They're sprinting to go listen to those people. They're sprinting to go listen to Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj. They're sprinting. Migos and NBA Youngboy and Lil Baby, they're sprinting. They're sprinting to go listen to those people. They're not sprinting to go listen to artists they never heard of. So FM radio doesn't care if you're talented. They care if you're popular and if you're going to bring listeners. And if you're not popular, you're not going to bring listeners. If I play an unsigned artist that nobody never heard on FM radio, he's not going to get anybody calling and requesting his music unless he's told them to call and request the music. And that's not how it works. That has to be an organic thing where people free willingly say, oh man, I love this song. I want to hear it again. Let me call and request it. It's a free will kind of thing. You got to realize building fan base is off of free will. Forcing people, trying to force people to listen to your music is not free will. Just advertise your stuff and don't force people. And let free will take upon itself. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button and hit that right hand corner. It says click now. And don't forget the audio version of this, it's soda got me burping. The audio version of this, I'll go to Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Tidal, TuneIn, Slacker, iHeartRadio, and a bunch of other places. You could just Google Paul Pickett Podcast, and dozens of places pop up. Also, another platform Spotify is not picking. Like, this is the thing. Spotify will they'll pick your song up if they like it. But they're not going to add it to the top tier Spotify playlist unless you're popular. They might pick up a song and they might add it to a playlist that has 300,000 followers. And I'm going to tell you right now, a playlist on Spotify that has 300,000 followers, you might only get 3,000 listens out of. And a playlist that only has 3 million followers, if they add you to one of those, you're only going to get about 30,000 listens out of it. 30,000 listens out of it. That's about it. This idea that 10% of the followers are going to come and listen to an unsigned artist, it doesn't work that way. It's more like 2 or 3%. 2 or 3%, not 10%. You're overselling yourself. I don't care how hot and talented you think you are. It does not work that way. If you're an unsigned artist, 3 million followers, and you're posted to a playlist of 3 million followers, only 10% of those are going to listen to the popular artist first and foremost. And a small portion of those are going to listen to the unsigned artist. Because most people are listening to popular music. Most people are into underground, unsigned artists. When you unsigned, you into underground. Most people ain't into underground music. If you ain't signed and you up and come, you're underground. You're not major independent enough. You're underground. Most people are into underground music. That's a small portion of music fans that are into underground music. I like both. I like underground and mainstream artists. So Spotify is not going to add an unsigned artist that they never heard of. I don't care how hot the song is. They're not adding it to the Rap Caviar playlist. Not in a million years. Not in a trillion years. It's not happening that way. They're going to add. You're only going to get added to big playlists like that when you are popular. Like, for example, an artist from my city, Moray, who's very popular now. He's from my city, along with J. Cole, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Moray did not get added to Rap Caviar playlist until he got added to the Marshmello playlist first. Marshmello added him to the Marshmello's people or Marshmello added him to the Marshmello playlist. Number 2, then the song got popping. And he was already popping on YouTube. He was starting to pop on YouTube, and the song was popping on Spotify at the same time. And then they decide to add it to the Rap Caviar. But they're not doing that before. Just because you're talented. And Moray is very talented. But just because he was talented, they won't add it to the Rap Caviar playlist. And even he knows that. He had to gain traction first and gain popularity first. Start getting people to talk and reshare his content across the masses. And then Spotify's like, oh, this Moray cat he's popping. He's popping. He's moving quick. He's moving quick. Let's, and Marshmello's co-signing him. Marshmello's co-signing him. But they didn't add him before Marshmello added him to the playlist and co-signed him. They did it after, which means he had to get popular first. So Spotify is not care. They don't care if you're talented. They're not adding you to the top tier playlist just because you're talented. You better be popular. The top blogs. The only way you're getting on all the top blogs is if you have a budget to pay somebody to get your music posted in the top blogs or advertise with the top blogs, or you're already popular. This idea that all the top blogs are supposed to open the floodgates up for you because you're talented does not work. Because once again, talent does not bring nothing to the table without fan base. It brings nada, zilch, nothing. Because in a business world, a product that has no consumers has no value, has no monetary value. I understand musicians always trying to put monetary value on something as soon as you record it out of the studio. Well, guess what? Until somebody's paid, till somebody's bought a download, till somebody's bought your album, they've purchased the product, it has no monetary value. It's worth $0. So stop it. Stop adding monetary value to music just because you think you're talented. No, it has no monetary value until it starts generating revenue. That's how monetary value is based in the business world. How much revenue things are or making, or how rare something is. And I can tell you right now, your song is not rare when 60,000 songs are being uploaded on Spotify every single day. There's nothing that makes your song rare. I don't care if it's the hottest song out of the 60,000 songs. Unless it's the hottest song out of every song uploaded for the month, there ain't nothing rare about it. It's nothing rare about it. If just because it's the hottest song for one day. Because 60,000 songs are being uploaded every single day. That's like 3.6 million songs a month. And you're going to tell me just because you're talented, you standing out? No, not without fan base. So, okay, right now I think we figured out FM radio does not care if you're talented. They care if you bring listeners. Spotify does not care if you're talented. They're not going to add you to the top playlist unless you're popular and you're going to bring listeners. The top blogs are not going to add your song to all the top blogs just because, unless you're popular and you are bringing viewers and listeners to the blog. Let's see. Influencers. None of these ain't no influencer that's getting paid to post per post. Going to post, the only music that a top influencer is going to promote for free is popular music, mainstream music. If an influencer is making $100 per post, $100 per post, they don't care how talented you are. Unless you're popular, you don't do nothing for their accounts. You don't do nothing for their accounts whatsoever. Because popular music is the only thing that helps take their accounts over the hump besides the content that they're posting just because the influence they have. This idea that you got influence over an influencer's account just because you're talented and you ain't got no fan base is bogus. Stop it. It's false. It's make-believe. It's fairy tale. It's made up imaginary BS. You as an unsigned artist ain't got no influence over the influencers. That's why they're called the influencers and you're called the unsigned artist or up-and-coming artist. This idea that an influencer that's getting $100 a post or $500 a post or $1,000 a post should just promote your music just because, man, no. Who in the business world does that when you know you could get $100 per post? Why would you do something for free for somebody that doesn't bring any value to what you have to offer? They don't bring any value, anything to the table. Because once again, just being talented brings no value without fan base because it has no monetary value. If people, and I ain't talking about followers, you might want to go back and watch the other vlog. All followers are not fans. Only the people that engage with your post are real followers anyways. You can have 1,000 followers. If 100 people engage, 900 of them don't give rats ass about what you're doing. If they did, they would be engaging. They ain't even paying attention. So this idea that, and it's typically only 10% of the followers on any account that's real are engaging anyways. Because a lot of people will follow and don't engage ever because they're probably following too many people sometimes. Once you follow too many people, you can't keep up with everything anyways. Let me sip this soda. Hit that subscribe button. So, yeah. Radio doesn't care if you're talented. Spotify doesn't care. Spotify is the FM radio of the internet. We know blogs ain't going to open up the floodgates unless you're advertising. You advertise with the blogs, then they'll probably post your content just because you're advertising. Which I try to tell my clients. Don't pay to get posts on the blogs. Pay to advertise on the blogs. And then the blogs will post the song just because you're advertising that song on the blogs. Duh. That's how it works. And influencers, ain't no influencers just posting your music just because. You better be paying them like everybody else. I mean, so an influencer that makes, like, you got influencers like Charlie on TikTok, Charlie D'Amelio on TikTok, got 100 million followers, and she's supposed to just post your content for free and just get you all this ton of engagement and this promotion that normally she would be getting anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 a post for. She's supposed to just say, nah, I'll just promote it for free. I don't need the $50,000 that I get per post. Nobody's giving up the $50,000 per post when you getting $50,000 per post. Nobody in right mind is doing that unless it's Drake's new song, and then they'll promote that for free. That's because they know they'll be the first. They know all their fans are gonna. It's Drake's new joint, so all their fans are gonna check it out too. They're gonna get more traction off of a Drake post. They get 100 times more traction off a Drake post than a MC no name or a singer no name that nobody's ever heard of that might be super talented, but he doesn't have a lot of fans. Because you're not popular enough. It's just like when artists battle. The person who always wins the battle, the rapper that always wins the battle is the rapper with the most fans. The rapper with the most fans. Cannabis clearly crushed LL, but LL Cannabis said something that always sticks in my mind to this day when I talk about fan base. You said 99% of your fans wear high heels. Well, LL Cool J has 99% more fans than everybody did in the rap game at that time. He definitely got 100% more fans than Cannabis ever had. So this idea that I got 100% more fans than you, and that means like you got 1 million and I got 2 million, but you're going to win the battle. No, my 2 million fans are going to side with me. Your 1 million fans might side with you, but that ain't enough because I got 2 million. I got 100% more than you. Because fan base dictates everything in the music industry. It's not yes, being talented, it helps. It's great. It's good. It's a plus. But that's all it is. Because there's plenty people make it in the music industry that are not very talented. They're average or below average musicians. But they might be good entertainers. That's the thing you got to realize. Some people aren't good recording artists. Some people are good performance artists, and vice versa. Some people can perform. I mean, some people can record good but not perform. Some people can perform good and not record. That's just how it works. And then you got some artists that are great at recording and just put out great music, and they're great performers as well, like a Kendrick and a Drake. Kendrick and Drake are these cats that are just put out great music and they're great performers. Maybe like a Anderson .Paak, Bruno Mars. They put out great music and they're great performers. Everybody can't be everything sometimes, man. Everybody can't be all things. Everybody can't be strong and super talented and everything. And this idea that everybody's supposed to be talented in the music industry, no, everybody's just supposed to be good enough to have a fan base and sustain a tour. Really, that's really have enough fan base to make a good living and sustain a tour. Really, man. I mean, because if you look at the NBA, everything has levels. Once you get past the first top three All NBA teams, like there's levels to it. It starts dropping off. This idea that a bench player should be good as the starters. No, that's how y'all think the music business should be. Y'all think everybody in the music business should be starters. No, some people are starters. Those are your great dudes that are at the top. Then some people are just the guys that come off the bench, the 6 or 7 man. Some people are just role players that never really get too much PT, but garbage time. They do the garbage time. You got the artists that do the super big venues, arena venues. Then you got the artists that doing the big time club venues. And then past that, you got artists that are doing just the smaller venues, the smaller bars and taverns and stuff. There's levels to this. But all those levels got to be filled. So this idea that everybody could be super talented in the music industry and that they should is bogus. You're in the entertainment business. You're not in the talent business. People fail to realize the music business is only a subgenre of the entertainment business. And the music business only came about because they started to put music in the movies. Before that, they wasn't even thinking about making the music business whatsoever. And until they started putting music in movies, like, it wasn't a business. Then they had to come up with its own separate business because then they started to realize, well, damn, we don't just got to put music in movies. We can also sell the music by itself the same way we sell movies, just by itself to consumers and let them consume the music by itself. And guess what? Now we got music. Guess what? We can come up with music videos. Come on, man. It's all about consumers. All these different things that happen were about consumers. At first, they was just like, yo, we're trying to make our movies better for the consumers. Let's put music in it. Then we like, we could turn this music into a whole business, this whole own thing, and we could do this. It's all about consumers, fan base. It's not about who's the most talented. Because some dudes could be super talented, but for a short period of time. They could be hot for a short period of time. And some cats could be less talented and they last longer. They last longer. Fat Joe is not the most talented dude from the 90s, but he's lasted a lot longer. Because he's one of those most smartest dudes from the 90s. He understands how fan base and consumer base works. And it doesn't work based on who's the most talented. No, it's based on relevancy, consistency, and those are the main two things. And really relevancy and consistency with your fan base. Who cares about the people that aren't your fans? It's all about the people that are your fans. Relevancy and consistency with your fan base. You know, so you can't do like, I was a fan of Joyner Lucas, and now I'm not so much a fan of Joyner Lucas because the last 3 or 4 songs that like every song he's put out since the song Will, I haven't really been impressed with. I'm like, okay. Oh, well. It's okay. But like, you know, when you raise the bar to a certain level, I don't want to get okay 3 or 4 straight times because I don't just want to listen to okay artists. You know, I want to listen to good and above good artists, you know, personally, you know what I'm saying? And me, like, I don't care what your music sound like if I don't like it. If you got fan base, I totally have respect for you. I'm not one of these people that's going to totally hate on you. He shouldn't be in the rap game. Why are people letting this stuff fly? The industry, y'all act like it's the industry dictating all this. No, it's not. It's the consumers. Because artists are more independent than ever. They're more independent than ever. And they're breaking themselves not just because they're talented or because they have talent, because all of them don't have the same level of talent or the same amount of talent, or some of them, to my mind and opinion, aren't really that talented at all. But if they have fan base, that doesn't take away the fact that they have consumers and fans that enjoy their music. And they're probably not looking at it in the sense of like, yo, he's the hottest, most talent. They might not looking at it like he's the most talented person. They just might be looking at it like he's the most hottest. And hot and talent are two different things. You could be the most hottest person right now, but it doesn't make you the most talented. You can be the most talented person right now, but it doesn't make you the hottest. You know? So, FM radio. Talent does not dictate the music industry when it comes to FM radio, Spotify's top playlists, getting on all top blogs. The influencers open up the floodgates and promote your music. And that's TikTok influencers, Instagram influencers, YouTube, whatever. If they're getting paid per post, who are you to say that you should get your stuff promoted for free? No, because they already have something. When they have something of value that you need, you don't get it for free. It doesn't work that way. Everybody doesn't just give away things of value for free, you know? And that's a weak mind state. That's the homeless guy begging for change, talking about, I need change to get food when you got a cigarette in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? That's that weak mindset, you know? Come on, man. Come on. Stop it. So, yeah, talent doesn't dictate the music industry. It might dictate your level in the music industry. It might dictate how long you last. But even then, you could be talented and you could be dumb as a bag of bricks on how to brand yourself, market yourself, or you could just do something that's just drastically makes your fans be like, what the hell? You know, because that's the thing. When you get fan base and you get a certain amount of fan base that you're making a living off, you don't start making music to just bring in people who aren't fans. You consistently making new music to keep the fans that you have fans and fanatics and have them. That's the thing. The way fan base typically works is your fans and your fanatics are the ones that bring more fanatics. That's how it was with Joyner Lucas when I first heard him. I tell my cousin about Joyner. He's telling people about Joyner. I'm telling my a roommate. He's telling people about Joyner. They're telling people about Joyner. As each person, as you tell other people and they become fanatics, then they tell people. That's how fan base works. The fans are breaking the artists nowadays. Labels ain't breaking no artists. You tell me, you show me an artist that the labels broke in the last 5 years. Major labels. I ain't talking about independent labels. That's different because independent is independent. They always got to break themselves. Major labels who already have an established brand aren't breaking no new artists that they're signing. All the artists that are popping on major labels have already broke themselves with their independent label or with an independent team. And nobody's breaking themselves by themselves nowadays, typically. You really need team support. You need people that know their roles, that aren't too egotistical to go out of their roles and willing to do their roles, you know? So, yeah, and don't forget, like, you got to make music and break music. So you can make the most talented song ever, but if ain't nobody there to break it, what are we talking about here? So what? You talented? Ain't nobody gonna hear it if ain't nobody. If you can't pay nobody to break your record, or you can't break your record yourself. What are we talking about here? Everybody's supposed to just open up, listen, just cause nobody even knows who you are yet. You have no fans. You just made a song. You got some artists that just made their first song 2 weeks ago and think they should already be on. What world does that happen where you open a business 2 weeks ago, you start a business 2 weeks ago, and everybody in the world's just buying what you have just cause? They don't know yet. It's a process. You're trying to build a brand and a business. It's a process, and it doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen in 3 or 4 months anymore because you can't break new artists on radio. Because once again, FM radio doesn't care if your song is hot, if you're not bringing listeners, if people are not calling in and requesting it by the drones. I ain't talking about one person calls here, one person calls there, a dozen, a few people call. No, hundreds of people ain't calling and requesting. They ain't gonna keep it in massive rotation, especially not no prime time. Prime time is popular only. If you're not bringing prime time listeners, you're not getting prime time play consistently over and over and over again. Not without payola. Not without payola. Which once again means if you got to do payola, guess what? You can't be that talented and you must not know how to build fan base. You can't be that talented if you got to do payola on FM radio. I can tell you that much. Now, Spotify is different because if you ain't get picked up a Spotify playlist, you're going to have to pay some third party to promote it, whether you're advertising it on social media or you're just paying some third party to pitch it to playlist. You're going to have to pay somebody if you don't get picked up by Spotify's playlist, because if not, it's just going to sit there and not move. Like the game is definitely certain FM radio and like the game is definitely not for unsigned artists. It's rigged. It's not that it's rigged against unsigned artists. It's just unsigned artists think that your music commands the same attention as popular artists who have already built established fan base. And I can tell you right now, I don't care how hot your music is. You can sound like the second coming of Michael Jackson, Nas, Rakim, Prince, the Beatles, Nirvana. I don't care. You can sound like the second coming. If you don't got the same amount of fans as another artist, there's nothing that says your music commands the same attention right now at this given moment. Maybe later down the line when you've built fan base, if you've built fan base, but this idea that an artist is super talented and he should get the same amount of attention and command the same amount of respect as an artist that's popular with a ton of fans It's bogus, fairy tale, made up, imaginary BS, false narrative. It doesn't work that way. You don't get the same amount of attention until you got the same amount of fans, or you're close to it. You're building close to it. So yeah, and like I said, labels, if they sign you because they think you're talented, they give you an advance. They're just the advance means you got to go to work. You got work to do. You know what they're saying? It's the don't watch us work thing. It's like we say, don't watch us work. Our labels, they gave you the money and now you got to go to work. That's what when we say don't watch us work, you don't sit back and think somebody's going to do all the work for you. It doesn't work that way. It's supposed to be your career anyways as an artist. It's supposed to be your career as an artist. Your goals, your career, your music, and most of the time, a lot of artists ain't putting no money behind it. They're expecting somebody else to do all the work. And then you expected that to be a partnership. That's not a partnership. That's ownership. Not your favor either. That's not partnership. If you put $0 up and you ain't putting in no work but recording music, that is not a partnership. That is an ownership. And you know what? I'm going to go over that in one of my vlogs. The difference between partnerships and ownerships in the music business. Because if you putting up no money, you sign with a label, you put up no money, and the label's doing all the work too, that's not a partnership. That's an ownership. Yes, they own you. What have you brought to the table? Nothing. Squat, zilch, nada, nothing. Because once again, talent doesn't bring nothing to the table if you're not bringing consumers. If you ain't bring consumers to the table, you brought nothing to the table in a business deal in the music industry. And that's fact. That's not opinion. That's fact. You have not brought nothing to the table in a business deal in the music industry if you've not brought your own consumers to the table. And yeah, I get harsh with these sometimes, but I don't sugarcoat. If you want somebody to sugarcoat, go listen to these vlogs where they sugarcoat and they're going to lie through their teeth to you. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you how it is. Facts over feelings. That is my motto. Facts over feelings. I can't lie. I got to be honest. Not going to change who I am because you want me to say things nicely. No, there's nothing nice about the music industry. It's an ocean of sharks. And unless you're a dolphin or a killer whale, you don't stand a chance. And most people come in this industry are just regular old fish. They're fish in the sea. Most artists don't know nothing about breaking music. They don't even understand that there's two parts of breaking music. Most artists getting to this business know nothing about this business. They have an idea and a perception of what they think it should be or what they think it is. And 9 times out of 10, it's not what you think it is, and it's never going to be what you think it should be. Just because you think something should be something, that ain't the way it works. It is what it is. I am who I am. So I want to thank y'all. This is why talent doesn't dictate the music industry. This Promo Palace vlogs once again. If you need online marketing promotions, you could either Google Promo Palace LLC. You see the names above my heads. You got the name in the banner behind me. We got the name in the overlay in the left corner. Also, you see the website domain down below, live with promopalace.biz. So you can go to promopalace.biz for online marketing promotions. We promote mainly musicians, but a lot of our services can be used for brands as well, like especially our advertising services, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, whatever, TikTok. We can advertise any brand on advertising platforms. Excuse me, I got a burp. Also, check out planetplaylist.com. You can submit to Spotify playlists. Excuse me. Also, check out New Litter Apparel, newlitter.com. For you dog lovers, we got the cat t-shirts coming away. We got t-shirts and hoodies and a couple things for dogs like dog tags and dog bandanas and stuff like that. And dog bowls as well. Also, if you want to email me, contact me directly at promopalace1@gmail.com. That's mainly why I do all my business at promopalace1@gmail.com. And that's the number one, not spelled out. And Paul at promopalace.biz. You can also contact me there. You can also hit me up at 910-584-2347. I never really give out the number on these vlogs, but 910-584-2347. I'm going to start giving out the number on these vlogs. And don't forget, this video will go to Facebook, Instagram, my YouTube channel, and hit the subscribe button in the corner if you're watching on YouTube. Follow on all the other spots. Don't forget the audio version of this will go to my podcast, the Paul Pickett Podcast, which is a sports-based podcast where I talk about NFL and NBA and some other sports every now and then, even though I don't really get into a lot of other sports, mainly NFL and NBA. Baseball's pretty boring. Racing's pretty boring. I do like women's long jumping, but pretty sure you can figure that out why. But yeah. So once again, hit that subscribe button. I want to thank y'all tuning in to this vlog. Why talent does not dictate the music industry. Not saying it can't help. It just doesn't dictate. This idea is just going to open up the floodgates because you're talented does not work. Every brand in this business, every artist in this business has to have marketing and advertising dollars behind them at some point to build their fan base. Once you build your fan base up to a certain point, you don't really have to advertise as much. Your fans are pretty much advertise it for you. But once again, it's all about fan base. It's not about talent. That's why talent does not dictate the music industry, because it's all about consumers. And there's plenty of artists that are not as talented as other artists that have more fan base. Yeah. So I thank y'all for tuning in. My name is Paul Pickett. Promo Palace LLC vlog, why talent does not dictate the music industry. And I'm out.